Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Radio Dead Air Tech Q&A. You've got questions. We've got guesses. I'm Nash. Been doing Radio Dead Air for ages. In addition to that, I'm also an IT professional. With me, as always, my producer, Mike Gearman, who also works in IT. How you doing, Mike?
Not too bad. We're getting an exceptional amount of rain out here. Not like hurricane levels of rain, just a lot. This has caused a few things to happen that people never remember. Like they never remember how to drive in rain here. They never remember to stop saying, well, we need this. And of course, they never remember that this much rain causes all the ants in your immediate area to go, oh shit, it's wet, and come into the house.
That's because it never rains in Southern California. That's what the song says anyway. So this week I have been having adventures in troubleshooting and finding out stuff being stupid in ways I was not anticipating. All right, so lately I have been trying to play very heavily modded Skyrim. When my sister,
because there's no point in not modding Skyrim. Let's be honest.
At this point,
no one. Yeah, I don't know that I've met anyone who's played Skyrim in the last 5 years who has not modded it. I'm sure there's someone out there, but
exactly.
You know what my favorite mod is?
What?
To have a luggage.
There's
from Discord.
Of course there is.
Yeah, to have a luggage following you around for extra inventory.
Yeah, I get it. So I was having problems. Now, my system is not the most modern cutting edge, but it's fairly bulky. I've got a Ryzen 7900X. I've got an RTX 4080. I've got 64 gigs of RAM. Yes. I literally just said.
They might have just joined the channel. They might have just joined and missed that.
Good God. People, jeez. Yeah, shit. It is messy tonight. What the hell? Hold on one second. Great. I'm gonna have to edit this. Yay. Let's see here. Just testing some stuff real quick to make sure the system is behaving. I think it might be Twitch. If it is, good. All right. Anyway, trying to say here. So, Skyrim at its base, even modded, is still a fairly lightweight game, given that I have Ryzen 9 7900X, RTX 4080, 64 gigs of RAM, SSDs, all that stuff. It is still a fairly, considering all that, it's pretty lightweight. And I'm using the anniversary edition, which has got the most up-to-date, RAM and all that. While I've been trying to stream it, my GPU usage was spiking all the way up to 100%. Now, when I didn't have the stream running, ran great. Wonderful. Just no problems. Beautiful. Even in 4K with all the textures and all that stuff. Amazing to have the game looking so good. And I was driving myself nuts trying to figure out why it was only with OBS. And I figure, okay, maybe it's the NVENC encoder, because these days, one of the best ways to stream to Twitch and other places is to have, an NVIDIA graphics card, because it has its own video encoder, which works really well at compression. It retains a lot of the motion. It's not as blocky. So I use a GPU, and I'm thinking, well, maybe it's taking up some of those resources. Even though the encoder is its own chip, it still uses the CUDA cores for some of the functions. I'm like, well, maybe the CUDA cores are too much for it. So I dug through my stash of stuff, and I built another computer, Mike. I had Sarah's old Ryzen 3600. I had my old GTX 1080. I had an old A520 motherboard. I had some DDR4 laying around, and I had an old SSD. And I had a power supply, and I had Sarah's old case. So I'm like, kaboom! And the reason I use the GTX 1080 in that is it also has the NVENC encoder. I discovered a fantastic plugin that's called Teleport, which, and this is just mind-boggling. What you can do is you have two different instances of OBS. You have one running on the computer where your game is, and you have another on the on a different computer where you have an encoder. And Teleport will allow you to take the output of OBS from one, send it across your network, and it comes out of the other one. So that computer does the encoding and all the heavy work for actually connecting the stream, and this computer just plays the game. And I thought, problem solved. All the heavy work is off of this computer onto that one. Nope.
No.
And I was going through, I was turning off plugins, I was researching stuff. I was like, why? Is there a memory leak? Is there some... What it comes down to is, to bring this back to some general knowledge for everybody, we have designed webcams incredibly stupidly. And this isn't just a Windows thing, this is in general. All right. For a long time, I was using a DSLR camera through a capture card. And when I was going through that capture card, HDMI capture, I could use that capture card with multiple applications at the same time because it's a capture card. Now, you would think a webcam is just, well, it's just a camera and a capture card built together, right? Same difference. No.
Yeah. Shouldn't be much more complex than that, you would think.
Except, and it's probably not even a hardware issue. What's causing it is the way it interfaces with the computer. I'm pretty sure, and you can blame it on Windows because it's probably the result of plug and play stuff from way back. In order to, like, you plug in the webcam, it goes, this is a webcam. But because of how it works, it can only go to one application at a time. That's why currently, in order for Mike to see me on Discord, I have to use OBS's virtual camera, which sends the output of OBS over to Discord as a pretend camera. And that's coming to the crux of the problem. The way you get a webcam to work with multiple applications at once is a virtual camera. You have to make a second camera in software, right? Send the output of the webcam to just that application. Technically, it's only going to one application again. Then that virtual camera, since it doesn't have any limitations built into how the webcam interfaces with the operating system, it can go to multiple applications at the same time. This is incredibly stupid. This is the most bass-ackward way of doing it. But
So a thing to note is that Microsoft used to do this with audio as well. You could only have one audio thing playing at a time. So if you were playing music and something else seized control of the audio, like to give you an alert, channels, it would go, yeah, no, you're not playing music anymore. Now, this was fixed relatively early on in
that was
the
fixed
operating system chain.
Vista. That was fixed in Windows Vista.
Yeah.
Because
they never said, they've not at this point gone, well, we need to do that for video as well.
Yeah, well, when they did it for Vista, it caused a lot of problems. Like before Vista with like Windows XP, when I was doing streaming back then, I had to have two sound cards to make to work the things correctly. It was a pain in the butt. The reason they need to go back and do the same thing for webcams, but the reason they haven't is, it just kind of works. What do you care? How many people actually do this? Fuck it. We don't want to put in the work. There needs to be an updated webcam standard. It needs to work more like a capture card, which it can. They just need to change how the chips interact. It could do it. We have the framework for it. We have the technology. We can rebuild him. However, so where this comes back to my particular problem and why it was driving OBS insane, I have a second camera over here, which you may be familiar. Let me put this up on the screen and we'll let Lumi demonstrate. I have a webcam dedicated just to the cat tower because, y'all wanted that. So there is Lumi. Thank you, Lumi. Great Perfect. Demo there, sweetheart.
Perfect timing, Lumi.
Good job. Good Lord. That webcam is the Facecam Neo from Elgato, which I will maintain, and it still is. It is the best webcam you can get right now under $50. It is fantastic for the money. The video quality is great. The features are good. The trouble is the software from Elgato is called Camera Hub.
Yep.
Try to follow along with this. In order to be able to change the settings of the camera while looking at the output of the camera and also using the camera live at the same time, they instead Camera Hub takes the input from your camera and turns it into a virtual camera. And the other thing that software does is it also does some AI crap, which grabs a hold of, here it comes back, an NVIDIA SDK. Even if I had not turned those features on, it was still reserving them and trying to hold on to them because that was part of the Elgato software. And that Camera Hub was causing the GPU usage to kaboom. And that's why I couldn't. So I even went so far as to make a second damn computer. I had to go right. So what I have done, I had to go through. I did have some effects I was using. It's like, oh, this is a nice little piece of software. I can use the effects. I didn't realize how badly it was done. So now a lot of the effects I've done over here, instead of doing them in the Elgato app, I'm now doing it via OBS through some filters and some other stuff there. Like, for example, you have to flip the image upside down because the camera's upside down over there. So, but yeah, that was so freaking irritating. It was crazy. The links I had to go to track that down. Now I have a second computer over here. I suppose if I ever do anything ridiculous, I might want to do that for streaming as well.
I have a question.
Huh.
And that is the Elgato Camera Hub. You said it has this NVIDIA SDK it uses for certain features.
Mm-hmm.
Does it even try to use those if you don't have an NVIDIA card?
No, it doesn't try to because it's not installed because the drivers aren't present.
Okay.
But yeah, it's done. So that's what I had to put up with. Again, if you need a webcam, and for most people, using the Camera Hub won't be a problem. But if you need a webcam, the Facecam Neo is great for $50. It's just like with most things in the industry. Great hardware, crap software. Happens quite often.
By the way, the reason I ask that is because I have run into plenty of software where, we use this functionality from this company. You don't get the full thing, but you get the components we use because we license it from them. I just thought I'd ask.
Well, speaking of Bethesda games and also of mods, Bethesda done Bethesda'd again. Now, you might remember a few
Yes.
years back, we're just talking about Skyrim. They released the Anniversary Edition, which was a $10 upgrade. If you already own the Skyrim Special Edition, which was already, I think, Special Edition was a free upgrade if you owned Skyrim to begin with. Anniversary Edition was a $10 upgrade, and it added fishing to the game. It updated the stuff and some nice stuff to it. It gave you all of these free Creation Club things, all these extra quests and all these extra items and tons of stuff. $10. And it was everybody went, wow, this is the best thing. We love this. This is great. Fantastic.
Yeah. Now,
but
because it's a Bethesda product, it also introduced a few new Bethesda bugs, but that's par for the course.
But that was no big deal. Now, here we are coming up on it's the 10th anniversary of Fallout 4. And you will remember just 2 years ago, just last year, we had the Fallout 4 shenanigans with the next gen update, which broke everybody's mods and completely wrecked the game. And that was a free update. And it didn't really do anything for people on PC. It was mainly for console people, but it still wrecked stuff on PC because they changed some files around. Well, Bethesda thought, let's try that again. The Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition came out this week and promptly broke the shit out of the entire game. Many ways in which it broke the game. Shall we count the ways? Let's begin. Obviously mods all stopped working because there were different call tables for different items. They had to update some other stuff. People had to go through and update all their mods to work with the other stuff. So that's a big problem. The next thing is they changed the Creation Club to something called Creations, which they already have in Skyrim and Starfield. Now they've added it to Fallout 4. It's a different creation paid mod thing. It's a paid mod market.
Okay.
And they changed it so that it would work with Fallout 4. It didn't. It did not. It failed. And what's even funnier is this update, part of the promise of the update was 150 pieces of new content, most of which someone went through and counted like 70% of which are just skins. They're just gun and armor skins that have existed for nearly a decade. They've been out since like 2017.
That seems to me that Bethesda doesn't understand what the definition of new is.
So they added, well, those didn't work. And people in the channel are going, lookup failed. Yeah, that error kept popping up for people. Instead of items appearing, you would see the words lookup failed. Instead of people's names appearing, you'd see lookup failed. That's because the table that matched item to quest that's referenced inside, it could not find the object in that table. So it gave the error.
What that tells me is they had multiple things that they needed to update so that everything would look up properly. This is a known issue in databases, of course. And they updated one of them, but the guy who was supposed to update the other table took a sick day, and they got checked off anyway.
The next problem is they did give one free paid mod. They gave it away free. It's called Tale of the Beast Hunter or something. It's a fully voiced quest. It has some new items and stuff in it. They gave that away for free, but you wouldn't know it unless you went into the creations menu, and it's not advertised anywhere as part of the Anniversary Edition. So you didn't know that. Another reason why they added creations is Walter Goggins, the ghoul, has been the most popular thing on the Fallout TV show. Well, they added the ghoul's coat and his gun, and they added a little quest to go with that. That one you have to pay $7 for. Now, you might be asking, well, Nash, this sounds fantastic. How much does it cost? If you already own Fallout, $40. Now, this is
And
also
if you
because
don't, $60.
now you have to understand this is not exactly accurate because they screwed up explained how the anniversary edition works. The upgrade contains, if you already own Fallout, it contains all of the DLC and all the Creation Club stuff. It doesn't check if you already own the DLC. So say you were like, well, I want to get this anniversary edition. It's expensive. I guess I'll get it. And you buy it and you already own the DLC. Congratulations. You played yourself, because the actual Creation Club stuff is available separately for $20, which you could even say is pretty, for a bunch of skins, is a little bit much. That's the one if you really want to get the stuff that has been added for, part of the anniversary, it's the Creation Club stuff. Otherwise, nothing new was really added to the game from Bethesda. Like the paid mod stuff, that they work with other people outside. This is not so. And it broke things. And like we talked about, the lookup failed. There's other issues. The price, again, I want to reiterate the Skyrim Anniversary Update, which added tons of stuff, added fishing, added like a dozen quests and all kinds of crap. $10 for that anniversary update. That was a great value to me. I loved it. It was great upgrade, great stuff. Even if you didn't pay for that, you still got fishing. Fishing was added to the base game. Special edition. You got that for free. What a nice little update. Boom, there you go. There is nothing for free added to the Fallout 4 anniversary. Nothing. It's if you already own Fallout and all the DLC, there is literally no reason to purchase this. However, because they updated the base game itself, even if you didn't pay for this damn thing, even if you didn't want it, your game is still broken.
Of course. It's interesting that Bethesda, has such bad reputation on releasing buggy products, that if they ever were to actually release a product without bugs, everyone would be scared and not use it.
They're also, side note, Fallout 76 is getting a Walter Goggins as the Ghoul add-on. He's actually going to be voicing that one. Why Fallout 76 gets it, but not Fallout 4? Because 76 has the microtransactions. They've hinted there's going to be more Fallout stuff coming soon, which is probably, everyone says it's going to be the Fallout 3 remaster, which is like they did with the Oblivion remaster, which, yay, I guess. Fallout, Elder Scrolls 6 is still a ways off. We don't have any time frame for when that's going to be finished. There's a Starfield DLC coming. I'm as surprised as you are. And the next chance of seeing a Fallout game is easily a decade from now. It's going to be 2035, most likely, until we see Fallout 5. What a shit show. So yeah, it's been a bad week if you're a Fallout fan. And when they'll have it fixed, it depends on when the modders can update stuff. And also, here's a nasty thing about the modding community, because it's essentially passing off free work onto people that the developers don't have to worry about. Sometimes people leave the modding community. Sometimes people die. This has happened to people who have developed, like on RimWorld, there's a couple of famous modders who have passed away over the years. Those mods will never be updated. So they'll never work with these newer editions. And had this edition added something vital to the game, I would have been like, yeah, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. For my money, personally, what I would have loved to have seen them do, which would have been low effort on Bethesda's part, because the assets already exist. The easy thing I would have loved to see them do is add all of the Fallout 76 stuff, the build stuff and the cosmetics and all that. Add all that stuff to Fallout 4, which it can be done. Modders have done it. It's not legal to do, but because Bethesda being Bethesda. But you can add those files to Fallout 4 and they work. Bethesda could have done that. Get free update. Here's all this free stuff from Fallout 76. You play with in Fallout 4, but they didn't. They could have updated the build menu for Fallout 4, the settlement building, to the same one as Fallout 76, which is much more advanced and works a lot better. They could have backported that to Fallout 4 because it is the same game. It's just Fallout 76 is a modded version of Fallout 4. They could have backported it. They didn't. Instead, they did this. And the Steam reviews for this are something like what? Mostly negative, 40%. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's not good.
It's not good. Well, you know what might be good? Here, a little bit of a segue over to this one. A few years ago, Steam tried their hand at consoles. I think it's about 10 years back. And what they did was they took off-the-shelf parts, built a PC, came up with their own operating system, and tried to compete with the Xbox and the PlayStation 5. Now, at the time, the Xbox, they were back to like $300 back then at most. And even then, people are going, God, that's a lot of money. Steam, unfortunately, decided to go with off-the-shelf parts, which may increase the price, and they priced themselves out of the market. The Steam machine wasn't going to work. Plus, the early Steam OS really wasn't doing the job. So, fast forward to now, and having learned from their mistakes and having learned from the Steam Deck, Steam has decided to give it another go. We are going to have a new Steam machine that's going to be showing up soon. TM. People are calling it the Gabe Cube because, well, it is a cube. What's in this thing? It's going to be running a custom chipset, CPU, and GPU, all combined from AMD. And I looked over the stats on this thing, and based on what's going to be in there, it looks like it's going to be close to a Ryzen 5 7600 and Radeon RX 7400, which is a very low down level for a graphics card. This is not going to be, they claimed it'll do 4K at 60 frames per second, but you got to put a big asterisk on that because sure, you can do 4K at 60 frames per second if you turn all the textures down and you put it on low settings and you turn off the anti-aliasing. Anything can do 4K at 60 frames per second. That's not a problem. Regardless, this is going to come in two flavors. It's going to be a 512 gig SSD and a 2 terabyte version. And we don't know the price. And everybody's speculating about the price. And also Steam says, if you want to install your own operating system, you can. So this is a full-fledged PC. It's not a high-end. It's essentially a laptop with no battery, no screen, no keyboard. It's kind of a laptop. But if it's at a decent price, people are saying in order to come in and be competitive with Microsoft and PlayStation, especially considering both of those are ready for their mid-cycle refreshes. In order to compete with this hardware, it's going to have to be $500. It's going to have to be in that neighborhood. That's what it's going to have to do. Steam might need to be prepared to take a loss on these just to get their foot in the market here. Because I like the idea. The hardware's not terrible. You can game on this.
Okay, it's not terrible, but because they're using basically a custom chipset, it's not probably going to be that upgradable either.
You could probably add a hard drive, maybe some more RAM. We don't know, but no, you're not going to be able to change the basic.
Part of this will depend on how they make. We haven't seen internals yet. We don't know exactly how they're putting it together. They may have a separate store where they say, "Hey, take out this daughter board, buy the new daughter board, put it in. You've got an upgrade."
They might do that.
That's how I would do it to have the upgradability of it a possibility. But
Well, Butterball, here's the thing. If they push it to $700 for this, it's dead. Because for $700, you can get a better PC off the ready, pre-made for $700. You can get a better PC than this. And for $700, it's not, it's going to look, people are going to look and go, I'll get an Xbox. I'll get a PlayStation 5. They're cheaper. 700 is right out. If this is 700, it's dead on arrival. Because it's not like the Switch. It's not competing in its own form factor. This is competing with two established brands in the market. Now, admittedly, Xbox has had the crap beat out of it, but Microsoft might be encouraged to slash some prices to fight with this thing.
Yeah.
It's
one of those situations where an additional vendor coming into the market will cause some rethink, some downward pressure, maybe some mobility in the market, where they go, hey, maybe we need to innovate here a little bit more instead of just doing a reskin of the same thing we've released the last few years.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, they will push the other company. So I love they're saying they're going to have a wood grain edition, which, bless their heart. Have you seen this thing? Look at that. They're going to have a wood grain, walnut burl wood grain. Hell yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Nash.
Huh.
If I were to get one of these, which is not likely, I would not get the wood grain edition. I would get the standard, but I would cover it with metallic gears.
Yes. So
because
the LGR approved,
Steam machine.
Steam machine, yes. So this is a nice idea. This is all going to depend on the price. It has to be cheaper than an entry-level gaming PC. Because an entry-level gaming PC should have something like an RX 7600 or maybe an RTX 3050, maybe even a 3060. And both of those cards are superior to what's in the Steam Deck or the Steam machine. So it's got to be cheaper.
So there's a question in the channel. Does it have a handle? It does not appear to have a handle, but because it is cube shaped, it is something you could very easily add strapping to carry around. Yeah.
Put it in one of those little net bags or something, you know? The other nice thing about this is if you want to, you can install regular Linux to it. You could install Windows to it and it will function. Admittedly, doing that on the 512 gig version will be kind of pushing it. You're probably gonna have to get the 2 terabyte SSD to be able to do multiple operating systems on it. But we'll have to see how it shakes out. So hopefully they'll tell us soon how much it's going to cost. They haven't yet. Last thing this week, just a little note. When the RTX 5090 came out, I remember Gamers Nexus did this big teardown of it. And I'll actually see if I can find pictures of it because it's from an engineering standpoint, it is interesting. How the Founders Edition, at least. From an engineering standpoint, it is interesting because can I show everybody all the little bits of it? Give me a website so I can show people all the little bits. Shout out Tech Power Up for having this available. This is the RTX 5090 board. It's not your standard looking video card, is it? That's because they designed this very specifically with the heat stuff in mind and a custom heat sink. In order to fit into a PC form factor, they actually have to attach a special custom part PC riser to this board so it'll plug into a regular computer. However, and this is very similar to the upward $10,000 model of the RTX 6000, the professional model, $10,000 for this graphics card. But if that little riser breaks, you got a paperweight. Someone had, and I'm not going to blame them for shipping this card badly. They shipped the card still in the computer, in the motherboard slot, without putting any support under it. And the PC riser bit snapped off. And it's actually kind of interesting seeing the it's kind of like a cut, like a slice away, cut away here. You can see it is a 14 layer PCB, and each layer has its own independent circuitry on it, which makes this incredibly difficult.
Which makes it impossible for your average shop to repair, and even your above average shop to repair.
Now, this is a simple fix because the card's still perfectly good. Everything else is good. The fans are good. The card's good. The memory's good. Everything else is fine. You just need a PCIe riser that NVIDIA won't sell you.
Yeah. The parts are not available anywhere.
Yeah, you cannot, there's no mechanism to get a repair part for this thing. It's a $10,000 graphics card. Now, I know we've kind of we got into $3,000 RTX 5090s is sort of just like whatever. This one is 3 times as much. And yet, you cannot get, and I bet you that part doesn't cost any more than like $10 to make. But because that, it's busted, it's gone.
The multiple levels, I would say, I would guess more than $10. I don't know that I would.
Multi-layer PCB is kind of common. It's not super expensive to make those, especially considering it doesn't have a whole lot of chips on it. It mainly just has a connector. It has a connector and traces, and that's it. I don't know how big I can make that little image. Let me try to make that image here. Be big, be giant, be gigantic for me. Giant image. Let's go over here. What this thing is made up of is, you see that little connector on there, that little push-in connector? That has little traces running to all of these. And that's it. I don't even think there's any SMDs on that thing. It's just a connector, a PCB, and traces. If that costs more than $10 to make, somebody's doing something stupid. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind with the way NVIDIA has treated their premium customers has been baffling. Because the people willing to pay the most for graphics cards,
they don't see them right now as a profit center in the way that they see the AI garbage. It's like, oh, yeah, we still got these guys on the side here. Yeah, I guess we'll make something for them.
But weirdly enough, if you bought like a 5070 Ti or anything lower than that, you would have a very reliable graphics card. Very standard graphics card, nothing weird. It does have the weird connector, but it's not pulling enough amperage over that connector to cause any damage. But if you get a 5080, which is already $1,000, or a 5090, which goes up to like $3,000, or the RTX Pro, which goes up to $10,000, you're screwed. Yeah, and Void Kitty says, even if they charge $150, it'd be worth it to get a 10K card operational again. Yeah, it'd be stupid, but it'd be worth it. Yeah. Not making it available is just insane. Because this card is just...
They don't care about that level of customer, though. They made them to sell them initially to, the people who are like, oh, I got to have this. It's the Founders Edition, whatever. And then they just don't care. Because they can, in the time it would take them to make the spare parts, they can turn around and sell a whole bunch more $30,000 video cards to OpenAI.
What this teaches you right now, if you're looking and drooling over the cutting edge NVIDIA prosumer cards and stuff, don't. Their support is garbage. They're not going to help you if something happens. Like this ultra complicated specific, oh, we have to have a special form factor that no other graphics card uses. And this is the result. And just it. If you're like on a 5070 Ti, you're probably fine. 5070 Ti, 5070, everything else, you're probably fine. It's just if you start spending any more than that, you're going to get screwed. Yeah, if you end up grading, it'll be AMD. I mean, Butterball, yeah, unless you're doing like streaming stuff like I am, I tell you what, if I was not doing the streaming stuff, I would have probably got an AMD this generation. It's mainly because I'm doing this stuff that
I technically am doing streaming stuff in a very minor way, and I have an AMD card just because it was a better deal at the time.
The only problem is with OBS, the AMD encoder is a problem. Have you tried using the AMD encoder in OBS?
No.
Give it a shot. No. See if it's got. I will say the most I've used it is the one built into my Ryzen processor. And it causes all manner of problems because the audio starts crackling and popping. I guess it has something to do with the processing audio in there. But try it with your graphics card and see how well it works, because it gives you better quality at lower bandwidth. So anyway, that's the news for this week. Let's get to our questions, because we do have a few. Where are we going to start here? Let's see. This one. Come on, computer. I believe in you, computer. I believe in you and no one else does. That's a lie. Computer, you're killing me here. What the fuck? What the fucking fuck, man? It heard me talking shit.
Want me to read the question?
I got the question. All right. This is from Diego, Central America. Central South America. Sorry. Different place. There's Central America. There's South America. This is Central South America. Okay. Hello, Nash, Mike, and Assorted Fluffs. Don't know if this is a simple thing to do or if you have to point me towards tutorial. Long story short, I want to try out SteamOS on my TV gaming computer, and I want to know how complicated it would be to make a backup of my Windows C drive so I don't have to do it all, the painful process of reinstalling Windows if I don't like it. Main drive is 1 terabyte M.2, formatted 2 partitions, 2 4 terabyte mechanical drives. Okay. First of all, there is a perfectly free way to do this. We'll have to break this down because all right, we'll start with how to do this. You can, there's Clonezilla, which is.
So let's start. There is actually a Windows backup and restore that you could use. I don't necessarily recommend it. It is not the most user-friendly thing, and sometimes it just makes garbage. So third-party products are the way to go here normally.
Yeah. The Clonezilla is a long-standing existing one, and it's free. What you want to do here is you want to clone your hard drive. No, actually not clone. You want to turn your hard drive into an ISO file or a backup file so that if something happens, you can just restore it and it'll go back in place like nothing happened. Clonezilla can do this. Also, a free software that can do this is called Macrium Reflect. There's a free edition that will allow you to back your system up pretty, completely. Let's see, where's the free version? Yeah, the personal, the home version.
Well, research on what you should use to make the backup is an external SSD, in my recommendation. For 2 reasons: speed of backup and speed of restore. Now, Some people used to make them on CDs or DVDs, not recommended anymore because it is a stack of CDs and DVDs. I mean, when I say a stack of CDs, it might be a stack of CDs.
They killed Macrium Reflect free. That's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. All right, well, there is still a free one. Let's see if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, AO MEI backupper. The standard version is freeware. Let me put this over here on screen so you can see. Good Lord, it works. It's not my favorite. It's not my first choice, but if there's a free one to be had, this is a good. If you're not going to be using Clonezilla, AOMEI backupper, the standard version is free. It'll back up your files, safe clone. Yeah. So, and you can make a backup of your drive, no problem. So that's what I would recommend for that. However, you say you want to try out the Steam OS. While Steam has finally made Steam OS available, you're going to have a bad time. They've set it up right now in such a way that it's for a very limited number of devices, mostly other portable handhelds. You could install on anything you like, but driver support is going to be a problem. And there is no NVIDIA video card support to be had. The Steam OS is entirely based on AMD right now, so if you try to run it on a system with an NVIDIA graphics card, it's not going to work.
Unless someone on a forum somewhere has hacked together drivers. That's a possibility, but...
Yeah. However, if you would like to have the experience very similar to Steam Deck, powered by Steam OS, powered by the same stuff. It's got Proton and all the rest of it. There is a distro, and it's based on Arch Linux. There's a distro of Linux for you. It's called Bazzite, Bazzite. It's free, and they are designing it to run on everything until Steam OS is released widely, if Steam OS is going to be... It's not that they're holding it back. It's just they're developing for a very small, narrow window of hardware with SteamOS. And that makes sense. They're developing for their handheld. They're developing for other similar handhelds. I don't think they have the resources to do, maybe they could sell one of Gabe's yachts, but at the moment they don't have it. Have I used Hasleo? No, I haven't used Hasleo. It's the first time I've actually heard of it. There's so many. But yeah, if you want a gaming version of Linux to try this on, gaming focused, that would be the Bazzite distro. And it will run on pretty much, will it run on computer? Yes, it will run on computer. It'll even run on Steam OS. It'll run on the Steam Deck too.
By the way,
and
I did just, there is a forum post on Steam community of someone who installed NVIDIA drivers on SteamOS, and they gave a complete walkthrough on how to do it.
But yeah, I mean, that's really not supported.
Yeah.
It would, in my mind, it would be better to use, it's based on Fedora. I thought it was based on Arch. Oh, regardless. In my mind, it would be better to use this because it's being updated. It's supported. They're developing it. They're keeping it in mind for a large range of software. You're mentioning Hasleo in the Discord. Let me have a look. See, where you put the link? Do you put it in? Which chat did you put it? We have so many chats in the Discord at this point. When did we get all these damn chats? Holy craps, butt. Just post it. Where'd you put it? Did you put it in general? It's not in general. Where'd you put it? I don't see it, Sapphire Cat. Which channel did you put it in?
Scrolling down to the bottom of resources for help. Okay, let's try it. No.
Ars Technica. Why is it okay? Ars. Wait, what? You posted it in Ars Technica. Wait, Ars Technica. Huh? We don't have an Ars Technica. Ars Technica.
We have an Ars.
Oh, who put that there? Don't even know what's on my damn server.
Oh no.
All right. All right, let me have a look at this. This looks like about the same kind of stuff as the AM EIO, and it's free, which there are a couple of these. So Hasleo might be another option for you as well if you want a free backup option. So I haven't tried it myself. The Sapphire Cat has. She said it worked just fine for her. Cool. All right. Next question here. I would recommend against trying Steam OS on something that's not ready for it. All right. Hey, Nash and Mike and Cats. I was thinking about trying to upgrade my system going into the holidays. Birthday money, yay. Okay. I was curious if there's a downside to getting an MATX board instead of ATX. Is there any problem I should be aware of aside from less connectors? I only use a video card and don't need any other PCIe slots. And 2 sticks of RAM can go all the way to 128 gigs these days. Thank you, Vic R. All right. Is that like your last name or is it Vicar? Because never mind. I'm sorry. I just.
Hey, the first thing I will note is while you're correct, 2 sticks of RAM can go all the way to 128. Please check the specific board that you're looking at to see if they will actually support that, because there's a lot of times where they say, you'll see something that says, oh yeah, this, you can put up to 128 gigs of RAM in there. But then you look at the board specs and it only supports up to 64, which is still a lot of RAM. Don't get me wrong. But you might have to do return at that point and go, I can't use the 128.
All right, just going to put up on screen so people know what we're talking about. These are the sizes of motherboards. The standard motherboard size that we've used forever and ever was called standard ATX. It is a set size that fits set standoffs in a motherboard case. Cases are designed around it. And as you can see, it can have like a bunches of slots on it, or these days they have much less PCIe slots because we don't use cards like that anymore. USB has gotten to the point where we just use that. Right next to it, however, is an example of micro ATX. Usually, micro ATX, MATX. Normally, this removes a bunch of the PCIe card slots. This one actually has 2 card slots on it, which that's pretty good. And they're both full size 16. You don't always get that. This one also has 4 sticks of RAM available on it too, which is nice. Sometimes you'll have some of these cut down. They'll remove connectors to make for a cheaper board. Functionally, in terms of the chipsets, like if one board is X670E and the micro ATX is X670E, there's no difference. Those will have the same types of functions. It depends on what connectors get added to it. But at its heart, the chipset is the same. Basically, what it comes down to is individual performance based on the manufacturer and what features are added to it. In terms of plugging...
And how much space you have for a computer. Of course, with an MATX board, you can have a smaller case. Now, the codicil there is you've got less case to move stuff around in, and sometimes all your cabling might be, and airflow might be an issue.
There's not going to be... If you want to get a micro version of one, if it's cheaper and you just want to do it for price wise and you don't need the extra features, shouldn't experience too much trouble with it. I will note when shopping for motherboards, stuff to look out for is make sure the heat sinks are there and large, because that determines how high your CPU can boost. You need to have CPU cooling because most CPUs require, if it has the thermal headroom, it will go faster. But that also requires power delivery, and power delivery needs cooling as well. That's why motherboards have heat sinks on them. You want to make sure all of the heat sinks on a motherboard are big and beefy and they can transfer heat off the board as quick as possible. That's mainly the thing to look for. Otherwise, it's just based on what features you want. If you can save some money going the micro ATX and you don't mind about the smaller size, go with it. I will say, ironically, there's one more size on here. There's actually the EATX, which technically is not a standard. People just do whatever kind they want with it. There really isn't an extended ATX standard. We just sort of pretend like there is. And then there's mini ITX. This one's the really small one. This is for those little microcomputers. And oddly enough, these are the stupid expensive ones. Like if you want to get like an ITX version of a regular motherboard, it's going to be at least maybe even $100 more than the comparable one, maybe even 200. I don't know why. I guess they don't make as many of them, or it's more difficult to put them together. But oh yeah, and MATX boards, it's a matter of connectors. But if you're talking about performance, there is no appreciable performance difference. Just the same as there would be with any between manufacturers and design. The board form factor is not going to play into that. So that, yeah, don't let that. If you could save some cash, go with it. Last one this week. This is Ben in Nevada. My mother asked me to clean out her desktop PC when I go home for Thanksgiving. It's Lenovo Idea Center 3 from a few years ago. It still works and runs Windows 11, so there's no need for her to replace it. But she has a couple cats and it's got dust bunnies. Anyway, my question is about the thermal paste. She's going to be keeping this for a while. I want to know how often I should replace it. I figure it's already 6 years old, so it needs it by now. How long should I wait until next time? Thank you, Ben in Nevada.
So it's part of this depends on the use environment and how often she used it. And I'm going to guess not high-end gaming. So I would say every 3 to 5 years is going to be enough, probably on the later end of that.
Yeah, if you're going to go cheap on this, because let me show people what this system looks like.
It's the Lenovo version of an office computer.
Yeah, it's a little he's a little bugger. Put this on the screen over here so everybody can see it. Come on, load. I don't care about the fucking cookies. Thank you, EU. Do you want the privacy cookie? Do you want to accept? Stop it. Anyway. Yeah, it's a little tiny case. It's one of those compact ones. I looked at the teardown to get into it. Looks like it's not too difficult to get in there and remove like the fan and then, clean around in there. It looks pretty standard. Here's a picture of the I don't know if this is the exact model you have. This is an idea. There are several of ish in the same name, family, but different. Yeah. Let's look inside. That sort of thing. That's next to nothing to deal with. It's proprietary. You can't really upgrade it, but if you want to clean it out, it's not a big problem. As to how often, like Mike said, about 5 years is good. If you just want to I want to make sure.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. You replace it now. If you do the thermal paste now, 5 years from now, she may be asking, "Hey, I need to upgrade my computer." I really feel one thermal paste will get this guy until she wants to go to something newer.
That is true. I mean, my instinct here, if you want to do this in such a way that it's did we get disconnected there? Huh. Weird. Yeah, I think we did. We got disconnected and reconnected. That's irritating.
From Twitch?
Yeah, from Twitch.
Or from each other.
Twitch. Okay. Twitch is being stupid tonight. Twitch is being ridiculous.
Twitch is being twitchy?
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, this is what I wanted to look up, and this is from 4 years ago. You might not have to replace the thermal paste because Lenovo has been using PTM 7958 as their stock thermal material. PTM 7958, which is a mouthful, it's a phase change material. It's not like your regular thermal paste. What it is, it's like kind of like a sheet of this weird waxy stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You put it on the CPU, then you put the cooler on top of it, and you're done. Theoretically, forever, because it's a phase change material. When it gets hot, it becomes more liquid to fill in the cracks, thermal transfer, good stuff. When it cools down again, it resolidifies, and in theory, you never have to change it. So you might not even need to do this for your mom. I'm trying to find out if the Idea Centers use it, because they were using it for their stock paste. Just trying to find out if...
that's worth looking up, yeah.
Because in that case, you shouldn't need to do it. Like the Legions use it. It might not... they might not use it on the lower end stuff, just because, it's not a gaming system or whatnot. If you want to play it safe...
I'd say be prepared to do the thermal paste, but you might not have to.
As to what to use, I always recommend MX6, the Arctic MX6, because it's cheap. It performs fairly well. It's not the biggest performer, the best, but this is not an overclocking system. MX6 performs well, stays in place, easy to apply. It will do the job and it will last. So yeah, if you want to replace thermal paste, just get a tube of MX6. It's how much is MX6 right now? It's usually pretty cheap. It's about $6.50. Oh no, here's one all the way down. No, it's $6. Yeah, it's about $6.50, $6 for a tube. Not as cheap as it used to be, but compared to other stuff, it's still pretty cheap. And that'll do you for like a couple applications for that one tube. So it's not like just like one tube and that's all. If you want to do it for other stuff, you'll have it around. So yeah, if you're going to do this, just bring along, to make this easier on yourself, bring along some 90% isopropyl alcohol. You can get it from Walmart, you can get it from Walgreens, just what off the shelf is fine. Grab some coffee filters for the old style coffee makers. Those are wonderful, cheap, lint-free cloths that you can use to clean off the surfaces. And a tube of MX6, bring that along. And also potentially an electric air blower. And before we go, speaking of, tomorrow morning, I guess this isn't going to count for the folks who are watching this on YouTube, but tomorrow morning, Newegg has a neat deal for their Black November, which sounds terrible, or it sounds like an emo band.
Let me interrupt here real quick. Mm-hmm. Newegg is having a number of such deals through the month. So even if you miss this one, there's another one coming along.
Yeah, but this one in particular I wanted to mention, especially because it's going to be on cleaning stuff. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, they are offering this little sucker right here. It is a $40 cordless air duster, rechargeable. And it's normally $30 to $40. They have it $10 off. They're offering this tomorrow for $10. That's an amazing price. These are great to have. They're much better than having cans of compressed air. They last for as long as the battery lasts. They last a good long while, and they're portable, rechargeable, very good for cleaning out systems. Very good to have one of these on hand. I already have one. I just want to have enough for $10. I'm not going to pass that up. That's a great deal.
I mean, I'll probably pick one up for work.
Recommendation, if you want to grab one, make sure you already have a Newegg account, because you're going to need one to check out, and that'll slow you down because this is a limited deal. You need to get there to get it right then. Go ahead and sign in at least 10 minutes in advance so you're signed in and ready to go when the deal comes up. But that's tomorrow morning. If you want more information on it, go to newegg.com/doorbuster. And yeah, put that in the chat there for you. So yeah, that's they're also got a couple other stuff. They have a 4-in-1 electric food steamer. Oh shit. Speaking of a doorbuster deal, this is a nice, I just noticed this one too. Also $10. Used to be $100. If you would like a build mat, a work surface to work on computer stuff, static free, and is this one magnetic? But yeah, it's a big, reference and all this stuff. It's going to be $10 tomorrow morning too, if you want one of those. Neato. So, all right. So that's tomorrow at noon. Keep your eye out for those. I might get that. I don't have any place for it, but I do want to get the duster because yeah. All right. That's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back next Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you have tech questions for me and Mike, you can send those to requests at radiodeadair.com. In the meanwhile, for Mike and myself, we'll see you next time. Good night.